Hello, my name is Sheila Arrett, and I'm an infant and early childhood mental health consultant at Children's Resource Center. Today, we'll be talking about thriving during the holidays. This time of year, you can see many articles or memes about just surviving the holidays. But when I think about myself and I think about early childhood classrooms, I think about not just surviving, but really enjoying this season and how can we make it so that it's good memories and that we all don't end up exhausted at the end of it? That being said, do have to acknowledge that this is a stressful time of year, generally speaking. There's a lot of activities going on in most years, and food with that to prep, and gifts to buy, cleaning, um, programs at school, and whatnot. This year with COVID-19, those may look a little different. Um, and there might be fear if there are activities about whether or not to go to them. So that's a lot on someone this time of year. So, with that, it's important to know how you yourself can relieve your stress. There's a lot of articles out there about self care. And the thing of those are you can have them unless you use them and you know it's going to work for you. How good are they? And being a teacher on top of it, kids feed off of our emotions. They sense when we're not at our best, when we're stressed out, and they can become dysregulated just when we're not at our best. So it's important to use some of your self care things and things that you know are going to work for you to help relieve some of your stress and to start using those now before we get into the midst of the holiday season. In addition to adult stress, kids also feel the stress of this time of year. You may think that kids just love this time of year and there's a lot of excitement and getting gifts and whatnot. But there's a lot of overstimulation in this time of the year too. And you think of all the um, talk about getting gifts and different advertisements and lights and music and going places. That can be a lot for a kid. Added to it, a child who maybe splits time between homes. Maybe they're with mom one week and dad another, thinking about where they're going to be for the holidays and how is that going to look. Two, if you are in a school setting and you have breaks, that adds in some uncertainty and inconsistency for kids. So there can be a lot for them during this time. But thankfully, there's some things that we can do to help relieve some of the stress and make classroom time more enjoyable this time of year. First of which is it's good to talk about emotions all year long, but all the more so this year just because there could be a lot of mixed up emotions for kids. So whether it's at circle time or morning check-in, asking the kids how they're feeling that day and letting them process what's going on. Maybe you're going to be the only person to really take that time and invest that in the child. So, how great would that be to have that time to talk with them and help them express what's going on inside? Also, because there's so much activity, generally speaking, this time of year and a lot of overstimulation, it would be good to plan some time for some calming activities. Mind Yeti is a great meditation website for young kids to just calm down um, and to provide some time in the day when things aren't so busy and noise, and to just have a classroom space of it being quieter can help regulate the children. Additionally, talking about before about managing our own stress, I this image about co-regulation was added to our Facebook page, and I really like it, just the simplicity of it. Um, when there's a lot of emotions going on in the kids, and there's a lot going on for them, we can be some calm in the midst of their storm. Like this is showing by coming alongside them and being that calm for them, we can help them calm down and be that stability for children. Also, as much as possible, keep your regular routine. With most years, there's programs and maybe different guests coming in. Uh, that can be a lot, and just the lack of routine will throw kids off. who rely especially on those routines to predict what's going to happen. So as much as possible, keeping to your general routine and having a visual of that, if possible, too, so that kids know what to expect. Con- Consider that at home right now, things are probably all the more out of the ordinary. And with that, limit those things that just mess up your schedule. So those schedule busters, things like class parties, although they might not look the same this year, I imagine you're still going to celebrate the holidays in some way. So maybe keeping those to just one day or two at the max so that they're not interfering with your schedule on multiple days. And letting kids know ahead of time on those days that the schedule is going to be different. Um, Two, consider how the children can be part in planning the holidays. If, let's say the children leave on a Friday and they come back on Monday and the classroom looks very different and it's all decorated for the holidays. That could be a lot for a child who is relying on that sense of stability in the classroom. Maybe home is not that stable. So, how could the kids be a part of decorating and changing the classroom? Or if it's just too much for them to be a part, doing it gradually and changing things just a little bit at a time so it's not so overwhelming one day when they come in. And if your center schedule or you're at a school and there's a break, reassure the children that you're going to be there when they get back, especially this past year with there being long breaks and long gaps between the times of seeing teachers and friends. If, let's say, you're out for a couple of weeks for Christmas break, just reassuring the children that you will be back um, and that they'll get to see their friends and you again in the classroom. Uh, Additionally, this time of year, we think of Christmas being the primary holiday. That doesn't incorporate all children. So, one opportunity during this time of the year is to consider what other holidays are celebrated or how they're celebrated around the world and educating kids that, yeah, there's some similarities, but there's also some difference too. And how great for them to be able to acknowledge, like, there's some great things about how we celebrate, but other people celebrate too in different ways. Um, an easy way to make sure you're acknowledging everybody, being inclusive in your classroom, is to simply ask parents what holidays are important to them and which ones they celebrate. And this year, there is a lot that may be lost or feel like that we're losing this year because maybe we can't do the classroom parties as we used to or have the programs. Usually at Christmas time, there's a lot of going in to do a program or maybe with young kids going to visit like the elderly in nursing homes. Those things look different this year. But what can we do to still celebrate and still think of others? I think particularly this year, thinking of the elderly in nursing homes, um, who may not get any interaction with family. How could you and your kids in your classroom incorporate them? And to teach your kids about serving others. Being able to help somebody else is a great self-esteem booster for kids and feeling like they are contributing and they can help brighten somebody else's day. How great this year to maybe consider what they could do. Maybe you can't go visit at a nursing home, but could you do a craft with your classroom, or could they write a little note or draw a picture and send it to, again, the elderly or maybe um, first responders? How could your classroom be look to think beyond themselves and consider others during this time? Here were a couple articles that I found helpful. The Penn State Extension and the Technical Assistance Center on Social and Emotional Interventions for Young Children had a couple great articles that can be used for teachers and for parents as well if you want to extend that to them. In addition to this, you can also check out our YouTube channel or our Facebook page. We have over 100 videos on social and emotional development for young children on our YouTube channel now, and we're regularly posting social and emotional resources on our Facebook page. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I hope it's helpful and you enjoy the holidays.